All right, I'm just gonna get going. I'm sure people will hop on here when they get on here. If not, as always, you can catch this on the replay. So, Taurus season, slow and steady, and some old school game. So I'm gonna get into this real quick. Um, as I'm sure you're aware, we are now in Taurus season, and I feel like this is a timely conversation to have. What we're going to get into. So first, again, I'm going to reference one of my handouts that I created: hidden astrological etymology and symbology. So Taurus, etymologically, from the root TEU, consider, regard, Latin, turi, tutum, tutelage, tuition. Okay, now listen to this. What is regarded is guarded, hence the word tutus. Once again, what is regarded is guarded. Another way to say that is what is valued is guarded. Value from the sense of Venus is associated with Taurus and with Libra, of course. But from the Taurian aspect, value is a key component. What is guarded is regarded. What is valued is guarded. I think that's very key. What does each of us value? Okay. Now, on the back of this, I go and talk about the symbolism. Taurus, the bull, the animal that is said to bellow. The word bull is associated with bullock, affiliated with Baal, Belloc. The Ak is identical to Ak, as in Oak or oak. Okay. When you see Ak, Oak, you hear, some of the Hebrew Israelites refer to each other. What's up, Aki? Ak. That means light. Okay. So Belloc. All right. And so while I'm at it, let me just go on and break this down too. Baal, peace, MG. Thank you for listening in. MJ, my bad. MJ, my bad. I'm reading too fast. So Belloc, the Ak on the end refers to light, and Baal, as in bull, references back to blood. Bull and blood come from the same root, and basically the root means to swell. That's what the root means. But we see that. So let's put in here, just for the sake of perspective, let's change Belloc to light inside the blood, or vehicle of light. Okay? Just keep that as a reference point. Anglo-Saxon, ak, tree, as apis, bull, as in opus, the eye of light. Sanskrit for bull is ukashin, equivalent to ukishin, the great sunlight. Now listen to that word. Ukashin, Ukishin, Akashic records. Blood, Akashic records. Blood, light. Okay. The Greek for bull or ox, Taurus. Brilliant, strong, light. In Phoenician and Chaldee, uh, called Thur, also Thor. Okay. The generic term for bull, Chaldee for sun, is Tur. So what this is showing is all these different symbolic motifs that apply to Taurus. Multifaceted, multi-layered. Okay. One thing I found myself doing as we've gone in preparation for Taurus season and moving into this time is when I'm doing my cardio at the gym, I found myself doing it slow and steady. Okay. There's different ways you can do your cardio, as I'm sure you know. And so sometimes my wife and I will do HIIT, high intensity training. So it's like, okay, you get on the step meal. And for me, I'll go 60 seconds real hard, then I'll rest for 60 seconds. And I go on and off like that for the duration I'm doing my cardio. Another way that I'll do it is I'll just, whatever time I'm going to do it, I'll set one pace and I just stay at that pace. Let me tell you something. The hardest cardio to do for me is steady state cardio, the same pace over and over and over. What's up, Serious Biz? The same state over and over. No increase, no decrease. Just it's so monotonous. You just gotta keep the same pace over and over. See, I'm a former football player. When you play football, mostly when you're training for football, you train in short bursts. You know, you do some moderate long distance running training for football, but the main conditioning for football is sprints because from the time the quarterback, the center snaps the ball to the end of the play, it's typically going to be around 8 to 10 seconds. Football is a game of short sprints, short bursts. So you kind of train that way to prepare for it. So when I do those sprints, when I'm doing the cardio, like on hard, off, on hard, my mind, my body is programmed to respond to that because it's familiar to me. Okay. Although it does still tax me, I'm accustomed to it. When I do that steady state cardio, I hate it. I hate it because now you really start to dig into your mind. Your mind wants to, oh, I'm bored. Oh, God, I want to get off this. I'm just doing the same thing over and over and over. But I wear this watch and I monitor my heart rate. And although my heart rate gets up very high, what's up? What's up, Flex? Although my heart rate gets up real high when I do the HIIT, the high intensity training type of cardio, when I'm doing the steady state, once my heart gets up to a certain rate, it stays there. And it's still pretty high. And as the time goes by, it gradually ekes up a little higher, although I'm going at the same pace because I'm starting to have to work a little harder as my energy level gets a little lower as time goes by. But by me continuing to dig into that same pace, I'm actually making more progress. That symbolizes Taurus season because in Taurus, the bull is not raging. The bull is relaxing. The bull is observing. The bull is enjoying the fruits of its labor and considering the beauty that surrounds it. Okay. Um, when you're doing cardio, you are manipulating, circulating your blood, right? The steady state cardio is Taurian in nature because you are moving the blood by putting the body under a steady state of stress, consistent, constant. Okay. And that's a very those are very earthy words. They're very grounding words. Consistency, steady, stay. Those are words that kind of deal with Saturn and or should I say Capricorn and Virgo and Taurus, those earth grounding, okay? And I just find it funny, and I saw that can be juxtaposed with how maybe we should be maneuvering in the world right now. Slow and steady. Slow and steady. With your money, slow and steady. With your relationship, slow and steady. With getting your house in order, slow and steady. Your spiritual awakening, slow and steady. That is the antithesis of everything that's being driven right now. Everything right now is about fast, fast, fast. What's the cheat code? How can I go from here to there fast, quick? I want to get there. You don't have to go through all that. I'm going to give you the secret right now, you know? But I want you to examine the world around us, okay? People are being paid to stay home and do nothing, okay? There's a momentary moratorium on evicting people and foreclosing on houses. There's a momentary slowdown on repoing cars. There is a push to encourage people to blow. Everywhere you go, it's you can't watch a video without somebody. Everywhere you go, somebody they lighten up. They lighten up. They could be talking about somebody's like that, and so things don't happen by happenstance. And what happens is we are taught not how to put things together. Everything in our existence is compartmentalized. You see this over here and you get confirmation bias for the world that you want to see, but you don't see the whole grand scheme of things. You don't see from a broad perspective. And therefore we can't connect things and see how everything is everything. All those things I just named are related. They are preparation for, dare I say, a slave society. And I know I'm right because it's been all been put in the movies. You go get the movie Idiocracy. You go get the series Altered Carbon. You go watch the series 3%. I'm sure everybody's seen the Black Mirror series. That everything's been laid out. And that's just a few. Get the Lego movie. Everything's been laid out. Sameness, groupthink, hive mind. At the beginning of this little fiasco we got going now, what did they keep saying? Herd immunity. We don't pay attention to the language. And so all these things going on now are to make the mind docile. Anything that'll make you docile and incoherent is being pushed. I know this is the truth. It's the truth. I'm reminded again, and I'm reminding those who watching, slow and steady is the way. Slow and steady. Don't come trying to encourage me to do. I'm 44 years old. I don't need nobody to encourage me that I need to do this and it's going to give me higher enlightenment or this is going to take me there. I'm 44 fucking years old. I don't need another human to encourage me to do shit. You can't tell me shit that I don't solicit or ask you for. But see, our world has been, what we're living in is one big huge bulb of high school. This is all high school. Who's in the cool gang? Who's in the crew? Who lit, as they say now? You know what I'm saying? It's all high school. Who's popular? Yearbook. Uh, most likely to succeed. Most of that. This is all yearbook shit. The most revolutionary thing to do right now is to not follow the crowd. Slow and steady. Slow and steady. And I know it's like unpopular. It ain't what. But fuck what everybody else saying. I'm saying what I'm saying. Slow and steady is the way. See. See not what's just in front of you. See what's all around. What the play is. Listen, when I used to run, okay, out there, I always like to hang with the old school. I never like to hang with. I very rarely ran with the people who was in my age. I like to hang with the old schools because they gave you game, old school game. And I've told this peace, Miss Lord. Um, I've told this story before about when I used to shoot pool. I used to think when I used to try to shoot pool for money, I thought that the goal was to be the absolute best pool player you could be. And yes, you want to be proficient at your game. But an old schooler put me on the real game. He said it ain't about being able to beat everybody. It's about knowing who you can beat. You go in the pool hall and you observe, or you observe the nature of the people you around. So when I worked at this plant, before I moved to Texas, I was working at this plant. This dude named Travis, he always would talk about going to shoot pool, and I knew he was very competitive. And I said, "Oh, I see." I said, "I got me one. I got me one." We get paid on Thursday. We go to the bar and go shoot. I like Trav. I'm telling you, I'm gonna scorch you tonight on the table. I let Trav go in there and beat me about 3 games. Like, all right, Trav. I was like, I'm getting pissed now. He get all confident, be walking around like a peacock, and I start wearing his ass out. For you know it, he get paid next week. He run out of money and gotta pay me out of his check the next week by observing, observing. Old school game. This is the time to observe. Let people react in their feelings and whatever, and you observe and study the nature of everything, and then you move based on your observation of everything around you. Okay. Also, running with older people. My brothers were, at least the brothers that lived with me were 8 and 10 years older than me. So I would hang out with them. So I always hung out in the liquor holes and the hole in the wall little place we would go called Dina's. Okay. And Dina's was on the block. Okay. That was this very shot out woman. She was shot out. Can't remember her name, but the thing is, you can tell she had been gorgeous at one point in her life. She was bow legged. She had this little small waist, round, just perfect little Coke bottle figure, but she was crazy as a shot rabbit. She would go out and be in the middle of the street cussing out. Nobody be there. She'd be cussing up to the top of her lungs. She would go and pull her skirt up in the middle of the street and just piss right there in the street. She was crazy. Come to find out, the story is she had a bad trip. Somebody gave her some LSD, and she never came back. She never came back. And what's crazy is when we look back in our family history, at least for me, on both sides of my family, I have people who died young who liked to party. My father was very guarded about friends and all that because he always said, "You ain't got no friends." Well, he was traumatized because growing up, he was told, my father never knew his father. His father died when he was 6 months old. Young man, but he liked to party. And so the story was he was out partying, somebody poisoned. Back in the day, poisoning was a real big thing. Us poisoning each other, amongst other things. He died supposedly of poisoning. Okay. My mother's grandmother was believed was this gorgeous woman. I see the old pictures of her. Was reportedly she died the same way. My mother watched her take her last breath, and which traumatized her. But the woman who we used to see on the block, when I looked at the pictures of my great grandmother, that woman looked just like her. Looked just like her. And that woman's deceased now, but she had similar fate. Who knows how promising her life was at one point, and she tried something, she never came back. Slow and steady is the way. The Zen Buddhists say before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. For the sake of balancing, which is another Venusian word, balance, Libra, balance, I feel compelled to put some type of message out that is a counter to what seems to be the vast majority of what you're going to hear on the internet. Well, it's like, do this, do that, try this, try that. Open your third eye. This is going to take you there. And what you're doing is putting your trust in the hands of some other human. Think about that shit. Slow and steady is the way. I'm the author of my fate. I don't need you to carry me nowhere, lead me nowhere that I can't lead myself. Especially for me, because my life, I've had enough shit that I don't walked in under my own behest to know at this stage in life, ain't a motherfucker leading me nowhere. I done had enough shit. And so maybe one of the remedies for right now, and for as long as the clock ticks, find your way and stay on it. Become Ray Charles and become Helen Keller. That means you can't see shit and you can't hear shit that ain't on your way. Taurus season, slow and steady, some old school game. It's unpopular, but it's real. It's real. There's a lot of things going on. Look. Money just don't get handed out for nothing. This is not revolutionary that all these states are starting to say, "Oh, we're going to legalize, MJ, Mary Jane." It's nothing revolutionary about it. It's not no win. It's not like, oh, the world is changing. Oh, they're coming around and seeing the area. No, it's a fucking play. It's a play. This like 100 years in the works. This ties in to prohibition. This ties into my grandfather that I never knew, or my great grandmother who died from alcohol poison, because they were the generation that came out of, especially my grandfather, the generation that came out of what they call the forgotten generation. The forgotten generation is like 1883 to 1900. Okay. That generation is the mirror of Generation X, because X is unknown, forgotten, no identity. You see? So they were given alcohol as one of the main things back then. And this is where the astrology comes in, of studying cycles. That means something something was coming to the planet. And by keeping the people docile, not thinking, dumbed down, they could subvert an energy coming by using diabolical means. And the same shit is unfolding right now. That's all I got. So, divine timing is very necessary. So much wisdom in between, no doubt. Sirius Biz says knowledge. Flex says Taurus is fixed too. Stay on the way. Yes, indeed. What's up, Brother Williams? He says the turtle. Slow and steady. Slow and steady. You know. Sirius Biz says always the fix is in. Get people shook, then they blind or too high when their hammer come down. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And mind you, I ain't got this. I ain't got it all figured out, and that's all the more reason to be, in your lane. Cause ain't look. We might have seen glimpses of this shit coming, but we ain't see it coming like this. We are in it. We. This is it. We in it. We in it. So, and we don't exactly know how things are gonna unfold. So it is just wise to be, stay in. We do know this. We do know that there's always a womb. There's always a tunnel. See, look at these: womb, tunnel, way, road, path. They're all the same thing. It's some narrow little space, the eye of the needle. All these things are talking about the same basic symbolic motif. Find that little way, and shit gonna come and be hitting you this way. But stay, ground yourself. That's those are earth words. Taurian, Virgo, and Capricornic words. Ground, Capricornian. That's a correct way. Grounding. Because look, we're in a big old Ponzi scheme. Half the people talking are just trying to figure out how they're gonna pay rent. Because people are feeling this shit. And so most of us, no, I ain't gonna say us, most are pandering to people's emotions in a hope to try to, get a couple of coins here and there and just get by to see tomorrow. Look how many commercials come up about somebody got the secret about this and that. And I'm going to show you how I took $5 and I built a $1 million t-shirt business and blah, blah, blah. And man, it's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. So that's all I got. And I'm not saying this to be dismal or pessimistic. I'm hoping this is digested and interpreted as encouraging you to not run from yourself, but to stand within yourself and to be. And the word be ties back to fire. When you're a being, when you're the isness, the what, the is, the being, that's the fire. That's you at your core. All right. If you want to get a reading, you can go to mastersofthecosmos.com. Birth chart reading, very thorough, very in-depth, very eye-opening and enlightening reading. Go to mastersofthecosmos.com. You click on the page, it says the tab that says birth chart readings. When you go to the home page, you also see I got the bundle available where you can get 2 of my books, my handouts, um, 2 PDF files. What else? Oh, tonight, tune in for the Think Music podcast. We'll probably be on about 10 o'clock Central Standard Time. And we're going to talk about the science of the hip hop struggle, story. The science of the hip hop struggle story. That's going to be a deep one. Another one that's you're just not going to get nowhere else. Think Music Podcast is where it's at. Thank y'all for tuning in. thinkmusic.bandcamp.com too, if you want to go over there and support our music. And as always, stay down till you get up. When you get up, stay down. Peace.